There's a war happening inside your skull right now, and you've been losing it every single month without knowing you were even fighting. You make decent money. You're not stupid. You know the difference between what you need and what you want. And yet, every time you check your bank account a few days before payday, something is always missing. You can't quite explain where it went, a little here, a little there. You chalk it up to life being expensive, but that's not what's happening. What's happening is a biological glitch, so old, so deeply embedded in your DNA that no budget app has ever fixed it, because no budget app was designed to fight it. Today, you're going to understand exactly why your caveman brain is bleeding your bank account dry, through 3 silent leaks most people never detect, and the neuroscience-backed method to plug each one. Not with willpower, not with spreadsheets, with rewiring. And here's the uncomfortable part. Every month you walk around without knowing this, the bleeding doesn't stay the same. It gets worse. Because 2 of these 3 leaks actually accelerate the longer they go untreated. Here's what's actually going on inside that skull of yours. Your brain is running code that's roughly 200,000 years old. Your hunter-gatherer ancestors lived in a world of violent uncertainty. If they found honey, they gorged, because nobody knew when the next hive appeared. If they killed an animal, they ate everything because meat spoiled. Scarcity was the default setting of reality. That code is still running, right now, in your prefrontal cortex. Which means every time you see a sale, every time you're stressed, every time you scroll past something shiny, your amygdala fires the same signal it fired when your ancestors were one bad hunt away from starvation. Get it now before it's gone. Your impulse spending isn't a character flaw. It's a software bug shipped to you from the Pleistocene epoch. But here's what makes it actively dangerous today. Someone has found the backdoor into that bug, and they're using it. Let me walk you through the 3 hemorrhages. Bleed 1, the stress spending loop. When your ancestors encountered a predator, a saber-toothed tiger, a rival tribe, their brain did something brilliant. It triggered resource acquisition. Gather more, store more, because danger means scarcity might follow. Your amygdala cannot tell the difference between a saber-toothed tiger and a passive-aggressive email from your boss. It runs the exact same code. Bad day. Acquire things to feel safe. Overwhelming week. Online cart fills up. Relationship tension. Retail therapy. You think you're treating yourself. Your caveman brain thinks you're stocking up before winter hits. The average American spends between $150 and $300 a month in stress response purchases they didn't plan. Not luxury, not joy. Biological panic buying dressed in a cute package. Bleed 2, the status arms race. In prehistoric tribes, status was survival. The best hunter got the most food, the best protection, the healthiest mates. Your brain measured self-worth through tribal comparison, and it still does. The problem is your tribe just exploded. When your tribe was 150 people you actually knew, status was manageable. Now your tribe is every single person on your Instagram feed, and they're all showing highlight reels. A perfectly staged coffee, a vacation, a car in the driveway that you recognize as newer than yours. Your caveman brain doesn't understand that those images are curated fictions. It runs threat assessment. You are falling behind the tribe. And falling behind the tribe, in its ancient logic, is how you die. So you upgrade. You buy the thing. You lease what you can't afford to own. Not because you wanted it, because your 200,000-year-old survival algorithm told you that visible consumption equals tribal status equals safety. And your bank account registers the loss the same way every time, silently. Bleed 3, the scarcity tax. This one is where it gets ugly, because this one isn't accidental. This one is engineered against you. Every sale ends tonight. Every only 3 left in stock. Every limited edition label. These phrases exist for one purpose: to trigger your amygdala's scarcity response. The same response that made your ancestors sprint for the last berry bush before rival tribes got there. Retailers are not selling products. They are hacking your evolutionary wiring. They've hired behavioral psychologists, neuroeconomists, and UX researchers, all working around the clock to keep your primitive brain in a permanent state of fake scarcity alert. And it works every single time, on almost every single person, because it's not a choice. It's a reflex older than language. This is the scarcity tax. Money you spend on things you don't need, didn't plan for, and won't remember in 6 months. Because your 200,000-year-old brain was certain you'd regret missing the opportunity. Here's the thing most financial advice refuses to tell you. You haven't failed at budgeting because you lack discipline. You failed at budgeting because every budgeting system ever created was designed for the rational brain. And you're not making money decisions with your rational brain. You're making them with an ancient survival machine that was optimized for a world that no longer exists. And that machine is being actively, intentionally exploited by people who have studied it for decades. This is not a personal failure. This is a mismatch problem, and mismatch problems have mismatch solutions. Now let's run the math, because the math is the part that should actually bother you. Say these 3 bleeds cost you $200 a month. Conservative, maybe 1 stress buy, 1 status upgrade, 2 FOMO purchases. That's $2,400 a year. Over 10 years, $24,000. Gone. But here's where it turns brutal. If you had invested that $200 monthly instead, even at a conservative 7% return, you'd have $34,000. The difference between bleeding and building is $57,000 over a decade. And $200 a month is the modest calculation. Most people tracking honestly find they're losing 2 or 3 times that amount. That's not a rounding error. That's a down payment on a house, a fully funded retirement decade. That's the gap between the life you have and the life you keep saying you'll build someday. And every month it continues, the gap doesn't stay the same. It widens, because compound interest doesn't care which direction you're compounding in. Here's where everything changes. You don't need discipline. You need 3 neurological redirects, 1 for each bleed. And they work because they use the same brain chemistry that's currently destroying your finances, just aimed in the opposite direction. Redirect 1, the dopamine hijack. Your stress spending loop fires because stress triggers a dopamine-seeking behavior. The brain needs a reward signal. Right now, that signal comes from buying things. But dopamine doesn't care what triggers it, it just needs a reward. The redirect: next time you feel the urge to stress spend, open your savings app instead. Watch the number go up, even by $20. Your amygdala gets the same dopamine hit. Same chemical, 0 bleed. The brain learns saving equals relief. Within weeks, the loop starts rewiring itself. Redirect 2, net worth as status. Your tribal comparison instinct can't be turned off, but it can be re-aimed. Instead of measuring status by what's visible in your driveway, measure it by your net worth number. Make that number the metric your brain tracks. Write it down every week. Let it be the number you compare. The competition instinct doesn't disappear. It redirects. And suddenly, your caveman brain is working for your financial future instead of against it. Redirect 3. The 30-second amygdala interrupt. When you feel the scarcity panic, the sale ends tonight alarm going off in your chest, say this out loud or in your head. They engineered this feeling. It's not real. I am not in danger. That sentence activates your prefrontal cortex, the rational brain, long enough to override the amygdala's panic signal. It only needs 30 seconds. Because after 30 seconds, the acute scarcity response begins to fade. And a faded panic response doesn't spend money. What these 3 redirects do is something no budget app has ever managed. They stop the fight at the source. You don't have to white-knuckle your way through every purchase decision. You don't have to become a financial monk who meditates before every swipe. You just have to understand which brain is in charge at any given moment and give it the right signal. The war inside your skull doesn't end, but for the first time, you start winning it. Now you know what's been bleeding your wallet every single month, and the fix isn't in a spreadsheet. But here's the thing nobody talks about, and this is worth sitting with. Once you stop the 3 leaks, that money doesn't just stop disappearing. It starts compounding in the opposite direction. Slowly, then faster, then in a way that's genuinely hard to believe. The same forces that have been working against you for your entire financial life, they can work for you. Same brain, same wiring, completely different outcome. If this rewired something in how you see your own spending habits, let me know in the comments. Drop the bleed number that hit hardest, 1, 2, or 3. And if you want to understand the next invisible force that keeps you stuck paycheck to paycheck, that video is right up there.